Hello, hi. So I am back. I say I'm back. I've posted a couple more videos lately than I kind of have in a while. And so today marks August 1st. For those who were unaware, today is August 1st. If you're in the United States, it's August 1st. It's August 2nd if you're in some other places in the world. But it's August 1st, which is day one of VEDA, which is vlog every day in August. There's also VEDA, which is vlog every day in April. It basically fits any month that begins in A, which is of course August and April. Nonetheless, it is a challenge where you, as a content creator, as myself, am committing to uploading a video blog or a vlog every day during the month of August. I've done this in the past. It's been a while, but I've done this in the past because I wanted to do more recording. At one point, I did a lot of videos on Periscope. I did a lot of Periscopes. And so I wanted to get kind of better into the habit. And so this was a way that I approached that. So I'm doing VEDA, and day one of VEDA for me is going to include quick story time. Actually, something happened to me today, which was, it was weird, but for me, it's kind of normal because all my life, I've always been the type of person that random strangers will come up to and confess or say things that are, I guess, a conversation that you would have not when you don't know someone or just met them. And in these instances, it's not like I was introduced to this person and then they said this thing to me. It's like I am just living my life, and then this person, we cross paths and they say this thing to me. And so they are strangers when this happens. And so I'm used to it. It happens a lot. And today it happened to me. I don't go out as much because of the pandemic. So my interactions with humans I don't know, random humans, is very, very, very limited. So it was interesting because I just haven't encountered this in a while because I haven't been going outside per CDC guidelines. So I, especially not going outside and mingling with random people that I don't know, like that's not the move anyway. So that's definitely what I'm not doing. So these opportunities for these things to happen have been decreased considerably, which the introvert in me is fine, but the ambivert in me, it makes for interesting stories to tell, which I have today. So today I didn't go to a party, didn't do anything dumb like that, but I was out running errands. I wanted to do a couple of things this morning, so that's what I was doing, going to some places, running errands, picking things up, doing whatever you do on a Saturday when you have errands to run that you didn't run during the week. So quick backstory. So my boyfriend is retired. He's an Army veteran. He has 3 kids. One child was in the Marines. He's since retired from the Marines, and 2 other kids, and I'm saying kids, but they're actually adults, are in the Army currently. So I say all that to explain, he has a truck, and occasionally I drive his truck places. And so being that he is a veteran and that he has children who have been either in the military or currently are serving in the military, he has stickers and a tag and all of that on his truck that speaks to that. So it says things like, my son is in the Marines, it says Marines, it says my daughter's in the Army, I think, or something like that. It just has more than one. So it's like he has the veteran tag, and he has like a tag around that says Marines. So there's just a bunch of tags and stickers and things that identify him as a veteran. So oftentimes, surprisingly so, I may be driving his truck and he's not with me. I've had people stop me and, ask me if I'm a veteran, thank you for my service. I always say I'll pass it along. And so that is the context for what happened to me today while I was out running errands. So I'm getting out of the truck, about to go to a store. I've done my mask and my keys and my got all my things together. And this white woman, and so this is important to say, this white woman approaches me from across the parking lot. She too has arrived at the store, donned her mask, and is about to head inside to do her shopping for Saturday. And she, she approaches me, stops shy of social distancing, so she is very respectful. So I'm not immediately like I have to, it's in defense mode. That was my thought. It was just kind of like, why is this person approaching me? But thanks for being for socially distancing. And so she walks up and she says, "Hey, are you retired military or your husband?" And I don't know if you guys saw my cat. That's Langston. He likes to be in the video. So she says, and I said, "No, my boyfriend's retired military," and then blah, blah, blah. I mentioned, he has kids. So, military family. And so she's like, "Oh, I like to thank people for their service." And I was like, "All right, well, I'll pass it along." She was like, "Yeah, I was listening to Glenn Beck." And so I pause here for a moment for another backstory. So this is kind of the sidebar conversation to the main line. Glenn Beck is a very well-known, very outspoken Republican radio show host. I think at one point he had a kind of like a news show, but I don't know if it still comes on because I am not one who watches Glenn Beck. But nonetheless, I'm familiar with who he is. He's along the lines of like a Rush Limbaugh, so or kind of like Bill Maher, but for super Republican conservative types, whereas Bill Maher is hard to tell sometimes. So I would say a little bit less. He definitely does not kind of come across, he doesn't push himself out as like, I'm a Republican and conservative and da-da-da. But similar, personality, talk show host, etc. So she mentioned him, and of course my shackles go up because I live in the South. When you live in the South and someone mentions something that's super conservative, you just don't know where it's gonna go. And again, this is a white woman who has approached a black woman in a parking lot of a store and talked about military service. So there's always, whenever that comes up, I just have to be prepared for something to be super conservative. I'll say that because it varies. It's not always racist. It's not always sexist, but it's super conservative. So I'm not really sure where we're gonna go because it could go left. So she's like, yes, and Glenn. So she mentions Glenn Beck. Shackles. Now my shackles are up, but not defense mode. More like, okay, I might have to walk away from this lady, or how is this gonna go? And so she says, goes on to say, and what Glenn Beck has said on his show, wherever she was listening to at the moment, that essentially, in a nutshell, Antifa is going to, when they read the history books, they're going to think because Antifa is coming in is gonna save these democratic states that are burning to the ground. When they write the history books, it's going to seem as if Antifa came in and saved the day. So she said a lot of things in there that I wouldn't normally agree with, but I wasn't in a position where I was like, this is a time for me to try to educate somebody. First of all, if she's listening to Glenn Beck, she is actively seeking, someone who is considered an expert in what he's talking about. So she is very likely not going to be particularly open to having a conversation about education. But also, I'm trying to run errands and go to the grocery store. I'm not trying to have a conversation in that moment. Some people might. Oftentimes I reserve getting into those kinds of conversations when I'm directly asked, and it's typically by someone who I have a prior relationship with, and not a total stranger who walks up to me in a grocery store parking lot. So I was not attempting to educate her, but I also didn't want to be rude. We can dissect that a lot of different ways, but I didn't want to be rude. So she says this, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, which is code for, whatever, fine. That's a great factoid. We can carry on. And then she goes on to say, and so now we're walking because I'm moving this along. I'm going to the grocery store. I have to run some errands. And she's walking with me because we're both going to a place. So we're walking, and she's just like, yeah, because that's just terrible that they would do that. And then she says, because I love my country, and starts to cry, kind of tear up a little. So again, I'm like, I don't know this lady. I have not given her permission to cry, in front of me. What's happening? So she proceeds to cry, and this is a short, it's kind of like her voice gets shaky because she's filled with emotion because she loves this country. And then she proceeds to say, like, they want to get rid of the police, and we need the police just to be able to walk freely like we can. And so I have said absolutely nothing in response to that. I was just silent because I am like, ma'am, if the police came up here and were aggressively trying to do something, I would probably be pushed to the ground or slammed to the ground, or I would be chastised or spoken to aggressively in a way that you would not. So no, we don't. I actually would rather not have the police as I'm trying to walk to the store. So to that I said nothing. And and then so she just says, so she continues to say that, and I kind of, so she's like, by now we're at the door. So she's like, thank you for listening to me. Just, thank your boyfriend for his service. And I was like, I will pass it along. She's like, yes, and bless you. And I was like, you have a good day. And, we went into the store and parted ways. I tell that story because it made me curious about, because I keep hearing Antifa thrown around. And so I was curious about it. And so I want to do some research into it, and I will. And I was thinking about doing a video, but I also did not want my mentions to be in shambles by the level of the strong feelings that people have towards Antifa any one way or another. And because I'm just unfamiliar, I want to familiarize myself with it. So I might do a video. It might be labeled something that does not use those words, so that I do not have a deluge of people in my inbox and mentions and things. But I did want to hop on, kick off VEDA, vlog every day in August, and tell my story, my random story that I'm glad it didn't go left, but it definitely could have. And my day was only paused briefly by it versus it being a full-blown distraction. So I'll appreciate that. I will be back for more VEDA. So stay tuned and have a good rest of your day. Bye.